The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom recently had a new trailer drop, and it's an interesting trailer. It reveals things like Zelda's Swordfighter Form and the Steel World, making this game all the more interesting and making us all the more hyped for its release. Let's get into it.
Cue trailer analysis.
Now, I'm sure most of you have seen the previous trailers for this game, but in case you haven't, it's worth noting that the first few bits of this trailer basically recap what those trailers already told us, that Hyrule has been basically ripped apart by the rifts and that many have been lost to these rifts, such as Link and King Hyrule, and that Zelda is the one tasked with going around and saving them.
With the help of, as the trailer puts it, an ethereal creature named Tri.
But after that little recap, we get treated to some new content, and it's pretty cool.
With the new information that we have, we now know what's inside the rifts and what they actually do to people. Not only do you get lost in a void and taken to, well, I don't know where you're taken to, but you also seem to get petrified. Not turned to stone, but basically you can't move. This is probably why it's called the Steel World.
Yeah, I don't think they like that very much. Being petrified is probably not very fun.
Think they're conscious?
That'd be torture.
And if that wasn't bad news enough, apparently if you aren't rescued, you'll fade away completely. Pretty bad stuff.
Now, as for navigating the Steel World, it reminds me a little bit of the depths from Tears of the Kingdom. It's not exactly the same, of course, but it has some of the same characteristics. It has a very creepy tone to it, and it's very isolated from Hyrule itself, not surprisingly. And it seems that when we navigate the Steel World, there's going to be some puzzle solving involved with just getting from point A to point B, because you're going to be navigating these floating terrain, and it looks like from what we see in the trailer, you're going to have to use your echoes to kind of forge your own path forward in a lot of cases. So we don't really know to what extent this will be. Maybe it'll be really easy for the most part, or maybe there'll be a ton of areas that you can't even reach in the Steel World until you learn certain echoes that will allow you to reach them. I think it'd be really cool if we could reach some areas at first and then gradually are able to reach more and more with the more abilities that we learn.
Dungeons can also be found in the Steel World, and for those of you who don't know what that means, basically it's a big scary place that's filled with little beta monsters that you fight off and go through the dungeon and its various twists and turns until you finally get to a huge serious boss. I mean a serious boss, a not playing around boss. I hope you're fully equipped boss. And it's just really exciting because it's not a concept that's unfamiliar to Zelda. It's just, every game, it's exciting to see what's on the other side of that dungeon.
As with many other Zelda games, the dungeons will most likely play a big role in the gameplay experience, and according to the trailer, these bosses are challenging. Yes, it literally uses that word. I'm not really sure which you guys would prefer, easier dungeon bosses or harder. I'm sure there's some that would prefer both of those. Let us know in the comments. That's a good discussion. We also know that the game is going to have two difficulty settings, normal and hero mode. So for those of you who want more of a challenge, you've got hero mode, and it can be switched on or off at any time in the game. So you can go between hero mode and normal mode at any point in the game. Also, Zelda's being a little bit of a troll again. It looks like she's taking a nap right in the middle of a boss fight.
She's got to do what she's got to do. I mean, if it's to replenish her health.
I know, but do you realize how small this rock titan or whatever it is must feel?
Do you know how dangerous it is to play chicken with a rock monster?
Well, he's so slow walking that by the time he actually gets to her, she might have had a full night's sleep. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually pretty fast. That makes this all the more daring.
Yeah, daredevilish. If she gets hit by that, there's not going to be much left of her.
Okay, dude, this isn't an M-rated game.
I wasn't going to get graphic.
Now, the trailer tells us that there are several rifts scattered throughout Hyrule, and non-surprisingly, wherever you enter in one of the rifts is going to take you to a different location within the Steel World. And just like Hyrule, the Steel World is really varied in terms of its terrain. There's places that have water, there's places that have lava, there's places that have a lot of contraptions. It's a really varied place, which is good, because if the Steel World is as big as I think it's going to be, then you definitely wouldn't want it to be redundant. I have a theory that it could be just as big as the Hyrule map, just like what we saw with Tears of the Kingdom. I can't confirm that right now, but that's a personal guess of mine. Now, as a lot of you know, this entry of the Zelda series is different because in this game you're playing as Zelda instead of Link, which means most of the time you're going to have a different gameplay formula. Now, we did find out from an ESRB link that there is times that you're going to be playing as Link in this game, but we don't know how frequent that's going to be. Based on the trailers, I'm guessing it's not going to be very frequent. But however, it looks like when you're playing as Zelda, you can still get some of that Link type gameplay because she has something called the Swordfighter Form. And what this does is it basically gives her a sword and a shield, and it allows her to attack enemies on her own and clear obstacles using the sword. This runs on a gauge, which means she can only stay in this form for a very limited amount of time, and also you have to collect energy for it within the Steel World. So you gotta be very choosy about how you use this, because most likely it's not going to be available all the time.
Her outfit, the sword fighter outfit, has a lot of similarities to Link if you really look at it. Not only does she have a sword and a shield, but look at her tunic. She has a tunic, not a dress, and a belt. It looks very Link-like. In her base form, she can't attack directly. She relies on echoes for that. However, in the sword fighter form, she can and will.
Also, interestingly enough, it seems that for whatever reason, she looks like she's made of water when she's in this form. I'm not really sure why that is, but it's interesting.
If I had to guess, I would say it was a ethereal glow, like an essence of Link or something.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I think it's possible that with the story, this might have something to do with Link. That's a total theory, it might not, but it seems like there's a good chance it does. I mean, her fighting style in the Swordfighter form is very similar to that of Link, so I wouldn't be surprised. And then the trailer starts introducing us to some of the characters in the world, and one of them is a character named Dompe, who creates these little robot-like things that are called automatons. And they have, as the trailer puts it, powerful effects that separate them from echoes. But the trailer also warns that if they take too much damage, they can break apart. I like the way these little guys look, though. There's something about them that has a lot of charm.
The eyeball has its own brand of weirdness. It's very Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at that thing, I feel like I can't trust it, but I also feel like I want to trust it.
I feel like I want to touch it, but then again, I don't want to touch it.
We basically said the same thing, but in different ways.
Isn't it funny how the world works?
Now, we don't really know a whole lot about the other characters it introduces us to, as it only shows us very quick clips of them. But if I had to guess, I would say these other characters that it's showing are side quest characters. We do know that there's going to be side quests in this game. I really hope that these characters are side quest characters, because I want this game to have a lot of side quests. As long as they're good side quests, that is. If it's just 100 fetch quests, then no.
I totally agree with that.
Also, a neat little detail that we notice here is that apparently Zelda does react to the environments around her. We see that she has animations for extremely hot or extremely cold controlled environments. So that's just another little thing about how much they pay attention to detail here. Also, this trailer ends on this really epic clip of this huge dragon that Zelda is dealing with. So wow, that's pretty cool. What a way to end this trailer. Yeah, if this dragon is a dungeon boss, I'm very satisfied with that. I like dragons. Oh, and the trailer also jerks us around a little bit. It makes us think that the trailer is over, which is why we almost signed off just now. But after it gets done showing you the release date, there's this really ominous clip that looks like Link is attacking Zelda. Apparently he's been corrupted.
Possessed or something.
Poor Link. I guess he has been the hero since the 80s. Maybe he needs a vacation. So yeah, you get to fight Link in this game. This might as well be a take on Smash Bros or something. Overall, I'll just wrap this up by saying that every time I see more of this game, I get more hyped for it. You know, usually I'm not big on the simplistic art styles, but I feel like this game did handle it really well, and they left a lot of charm intact into the game while also making it more simplistic, kind of like a retro title and a modern title at the same time. And I also think the gameplay in it is just handled really well. I like the concept of the still world, I like the concept of echoes, and I'm steadily getting more and more excited for its release. I think this game is going to be really good when it comes out. But let us know what you think. Are you excited for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom? And if you're not, tell us why. Also, this game really should have been called The Legend of Link, but what are you gonna do?